Welcome to Trading the Close on this Thursday. I'm Tony Valier with Verified Investing, and here's what's making headlines today. Rates for a 30-year fixed mortgage fall below 7% for the first time since August. November proves to be a strong month for economic performance after a soft October. Retail sales for November show an increase of 0.3%, and applications for unemployment dropped 19,000 last week to 202,000, the lowest level since mid-October. GM self-driving car company Cruise is laying off 900 employees following its move to suspend driverless operations in the U.S. Well, markets opened up in the green this morning. Let's get a quick check of where things stand right now, just minutes before the close. Seeing all green again across the board. That rally continues. The S&P 500 up 7 points. The Dow remains at that record mark above 37,000. Right now it's up 116. The NASDAQ up just over 10 points. I've got a special guest today, a verified investing trader and seasoned crypto trader. Paul Sampson joins me now. Paul, welcome. Any surprises in the market today after yesterday's big surge?
Hey Tony, yeah, it's definitely been a roller coaster across the board, which has been to the good side, I guess, suppose. Yeah, we got a couple of movers here in the stock market, and then of course I'm going to cover the crypto market as well. So for the stocks, we're going to take a look at Moderna and Adobe as they've had some pretty decent moves here for today as well. And
Yeah, as you mentioned, Moderna, their stock surge, I know, following promising results from their vaccine used to help prevent the return of severe skin cancer. So I know you're showing us that chart. How's it looking now?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's quite interesting because we've had a pretty decent move to the upside here, about 30% actually, which almost appears as a crypto move in the stock market world. I've got the daily chart on here, so even though we've had a really nice move to the upside and a little bit of a pullback so far, it's still like quite a bit from the recent highs here. So, but yeah, a really nice move nonetheless, and. Like you said, kind of piggybacking off of some news catalyst there. You can almost see, a bit of a trend line kind of, hitting from these highs as we go along here. So, you'd really want to see that $94 kind of like, basically claimed for some more upside here in the near future. But nonetheless, still a decent move either way. So.
Well, another big mover today is Adobe. I know the company's fourth quarter results surpassed expectations, but then the stock slid after a weaker than expected forecast for 2024. So can you take us through the Adobe chart?
Yes, absolutely. So here's Adobe, and yeah, so I mean we had a really nice move. Similar. I'm looking at the daily chart here, so really high time frame here. You've had a pretty big move here off the low, which is from November, basically November 1st through basically the recent couple weeks here, a nice 25% move to the upside, and we're seeing a bit of a pullback here. And essentially, where we're coming into is the quarterly, the VWAP. So. Not even unlike, I guess, but like, for me, I utilize volume as much as any other kind of moving average, I suppose. So this is the volume weighted average of price for the quarter. So as we're coming into the end of Q4 here, this is the current quarterly, the volume average weighted price action. So we're coming back into that, that mean reversion, so to speak. And the market just closed here as we're looking at this right now. But yeah, really nice move off the lows, about 25% to the upside, and then so far we're seeing a little bit of a pullback. And you can almost consider this back to these previous peak highs here, which was like middle of October here as well.
Well, I know you're a crypto trader as well. What changes are you seeing in the cryptoverse today?
Yeah. So for crypto specifically, I'm going to kind of break it down a little bit more in depth than the previous two stocks here. So for Bitcoin here, I have highlighted, and this is a little bit still on the, or I guess it's a little bit more in the smaller time frame here. And essentially, what we had today was a really nice setup. So we had our previous day range. And for me, I'm really looking for a move back up to like that 40, almost 44K region, which is the weekly open. It's a daily level. For me, I'm looking at the previous week range, which is the point of control. But the area I have highlighted today is just a really nice overlay of like what happened today. And this was our previous day range. So what happened today was, let me just highlight my little airbrush here. We had a really nice move, to the upside. We basically opened up our new day. And what happens when you open up the day outside of the previous day range is you have a really nice setup known as the Dalton setup. And it's a gentleman named Dalton who basically proclaimed that, like, if you open up your new daily range outside of the previous day range, there's an 80% chance that if you re-enter that area, that you're going to cycle that region. And for one, you're going to go back to your point of control, which we all know is the area that we look for. And then potentially from that, you look to cycle the whole range in total. But either way, what we had here was we closed our daily range. We were outside of that range. We had a naked point of control, right, which is our high volume target for the day, essentially. And you can see that's exactly where we came down to today. So we came right back down to 41 and change, depending on what exchange you were looking at, and got a really nice bounce out of that, and currently living back outside of that region. So it was a nice, really short-term burst. And then as far as, any kind of like new data would go, kind of zooming out here.
I got to ask you real quick.
Go ahead.
The Dalton, is that specific to Bitcoin because or crypto in general because it trades 24/7?
No, I mean that is the stocks as well.
Okay.
Just any kind of asset that would open up outside of its previous day value area, basically. So it's an interesting tactic, and definitely, in theory, it would be to where you would almost rotate through the entire range. But a lot of times, at least in crypto, we find that like the point of control is the area that we would highly, find ourselves making our way to. So today was a really good example of that. And then yeah, well, obviously we were back outside that range now. So it's very useful for either crypto or stocks.
Okay. I learn something new every time I do this. I know you follow Avalanche as well and Ethereum.
Yeah, so we'll take a look at those. And let me see here. Sorry.
You're good. I know technology.
All right.
Sometimes it's not as quick as you'd like
Yeah,
it to
the
be.
bar is like right over the other tabs there. So yeah, so here for Ethereum, I'll just kind of zoom it out a little bit more, higher time frame here as well. And we had a really nice high come out for the weekend here, which I think the last time I was on was this time last week, basically. So we had a $2,400 Ethereum here, which was butting up right to the next range, basically. So when looking at this as a overall range, let me see if I can zoom this out here. Having a little bit of a slow period here, I guess, on the trading view. Let's see here. So I'm looking at this old quarterly range here, which is basically Q1 of 2022. See if I can back this up. And you can see that basically Ethereum has ran right into the range, the value area, right, the low. So although that $2,600 region is that next area I'm looking for on a higher time frame, we've run up, we've kind of butt up against this range, and then we've gotten a little bit of a retrace. So what to look for in terms of a potential pullback here, which I think we're in for at this point. So and we've already gotten a really nice what is this, like 8 to 10 or over that, about an 11% pullback here. We see a nice gold pocket here. So like once again, like pulling the high to low, that 0.618 to 0.65% retrace has been met here. And for me, once again, like similar to that Bitcoin chart where we're looking for the weekly open of this week, which is also a couple of other areas stacked up against each other. I would say that that's a really big level for me is for ETH is like up to like 2353, but I'm actually looking down at the moment towards the 1989 region and then potentially even all the way to 1894. And then not to say that those are like or that we're in like this huge, complete reversal at this point. But I think that those are the areas that we'd be looking for that next move up into that 600, potentially even like $3,000 Ethereum here.
Okay, good to know. And then Avalanche.
Yes, and then Avalanche. So Avalanche has been moving exponentially here for quite some time, and let's go and pull this up. We're going to head zoom out to more of a daily time frame. And I'll zoom into this region here. And, in the beginning of it was just October, this was a really big area for me that I was looking at was an old range here. And in October, we were trading back at, $9, give or take. And I was looking for the reclaim of this region. So we got back into that $10.50 area. We made it to a high volume target, which at the time was a quarterly naked point of control, which was at 1322. After that, we had the high, which came in, around that $15, $16 area. And since then, we've just seen a remarkable move to the upside, right? So we've seen basically on a daily time frame, you just had a really nice overall just range rotation. You've back tested the high at this point. We had a quarterly level after that. And then really the only areas that I'd be concerned with and have been concerned with are the ones I'm going to highlight here, right? So, and it's the overall yearly average, which once again, so similar to like a moving average that doesn't move necessarily. This is the average of price from last year, and it is at $46.35. And when we were trading down in this region just a couple months ago, seemed like an absolute Hail Mary. It was 400% away. However, we've managed to make it just about to that region now. So we're trading at $38.83. I have no doubt that we're going to come up and at least attempt at that $46 region. Probably not the area I would get, involved in right now, but if you were in these lower areas, accumulating in this region, definitely a potential take profit. And then if we were to come up and actually claim that region, and once again, these are levels that I wouldn't be chasing this necessarily, but if you're already in, the next take profit areas for me would be that yearly area, that $46, and then after that, it's actually 77, give or take, and then 98. So just know that, obviously we've seen a really substantial rise, similar to like a Solana or a Chainlink previous to this year or earlier in this year. A pullback is definitely, in the cards, but I could see that this would, have some really nice movement to the upside over the next couple of weeks to months here.
It sure looks like it. So if you're already in, good for you. Paul, thank you so much. We appreciate your time and your perspective. We will see you again soon, especially tomorrow, because Paul and head trader Ben Poole give their perspective on crypto and the stock market on their show, The Bottom Line. It airs Fridays at 4 p.m. right here on the Verified Investing YouTube channel. And that does it for Trading the Close on this Thursday. I'm Tony Valier. Have a great day.